In the African diaspora, we speak a lot about the achievements of Africans, but seldom do we focus our time and attention on African achievements in medicine. Medicine, of course, being very important to human life and overall health. As usual, ancient Africans once again seem to be the progenitors of one of the most complex medical procedures in human history, the so-called Caesarean section. What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and I'm back at it with another video of African history, culture, and worldview. And as always, if you want to support the Home Team, you can do so on patreon.com. I have some new rewards for you guys, so be sure to check that out. Also, go to Afrographics.com, a website where you can find unique illustrative infographics summarizing African history. All links to Patreon, Afrographics, and Home Team merchandise are in the description box below. Africans all across the continent have certainly engineered unique methods of treating illness and disease, but one of the few places where we have actual eyewitness testimony from outsiders comes straight out of Uganda, from the Kingdom of Bunyoro. These European visitors who witnessed the Caesarean section in the Kingdom of Bunyoro in the 19th century were absolutely astonished by the precision and surgical ingenuity Africans from the Great Lakes region performed. To give this history its just due, let's first talk about the history of the Bunyoro Kingdom of Uganda and its people. Iron Age communities probably moved into Bunyoro around 2,000 years ago, gradually moving inland from early river and lakeshore settlements. One European missionary named John Buchanan recorded the clan histories of the Bunyoro people, indicating that the Kingdom of Bunyoro received immigrants from all directions of Africa, but primarily from the north and the west. The Songa, Gahi, Ranzi, Yaga, Rangu, Gabu, and Yanga clans are held to be the oldest in Bunyoro, but are believed to have originated elsewhere, mostly to the west of Lake Albert. While these clans are assumed to have always been Bantu-speaking, Buchanan found that the traditions of 12 now completely Bantu clans trace their origins to Luo-speaking areas north of the Nile. By 1800, most Nyoro people, or the people of Bunyoro, were Bantu-speaking, but northern and eastern Bunyoro were predominantly Luo-speaking. These linguistic and cultural connections advanced Bunyoro's attempts to exert influence over northern and eastern Uganda and to dominate the trade of the entire region. The Nyoro have claimed for quite some time that their kingdom is the true heir to an immense ancient empire called Katara. Dr. Inyakatura, in his book about the Bunyoro kingdom in 1973, asserts that Katara in its heyday encompassed most of Uganda, parts of western Kenya, eastern Congo, northern Tanzania and Rwanda, and southern Sudan. Local court-related historians have detailed the divine origins of the empire, how it was inherited from the godly Batambuzi dynasty by the semi-divine Bakwezi, who ruled for a short time before transferring power to the Bobito clan, Luo immigrants from the northeast, who still rule today. Revisionist historians, however, have argued that the local Nyoro historians' primary concern was with emphasizing the former importance and influence of Bunyoro, and they have questioned the length of Nyoro king lineages, the existence of an ancient empire, and the reality of a Bakwezi dynasty. One historian named Dr. Tantala has recently suggested that Bobito, upon taking power in Bunyoro, mixed and mingled numerous ancient traditions, including those relating to Bakwezi spirits, in order to legitimize their rule. All kings from the modern region of Uganda claim to be the true heirs of the ancient Katara kingdom, which suggests that such a state did pre-exist Bunyoro and its neighboring kingdoms. That being said, the people of the Bunyoro kingdom make it very clear that their existence in that region is ancient, and by relation, their culture of medicine draws from the various ancient sources that arrived there long ago. To put this remarkable African procedure in context, we have to remember that infection-free surgeries like this in other parts of the world were rare. Thus, the success of this highly advanced procedure by the Bunyoro people was thought of as exceptional and hinted to its antiquity. Dr. Robert Felkin, an English medical missionary in Uganda in the 19th century, witnessed the Bunyoro C-section firsthand and wrote a very detailed account about what he saw. Bear with me as I read his full first-hand account. The woman, a 20-year-old premipara, lay on a somewhat sloping bed, the head of which stood against the wall of the hut. She had been put in a state of intoxication with banana wine. She was quite naked with the thorax tied to the bed, whilst another band of tree bark held her legs down firmly and a man held her ankles fast. Another man, standing at her right side, held down the abdomen. The operator at the left side held the knife in his right hand and murmured an incantation. Then he washed his hands and also the abdomen of the patient with banana wine and then with water. Then, after he had uttered a shrill cry, which was answered by a crowd assembled outside the hut, he suddenly made an incision in the median line, beginning a little above the pubic symphysis to just under the umbilicus. The wall of the abdomen, as well as that of the uterus, was severed by the incision, and the amniotic liquor gushed out, the bleeding parts of the abdomen being cauterized by an assistant by means of a red-hot iron. The operator then finished the incision in the uterine wall as quickly as possible. His assistant held the abdominal walls inside with both hands, and as soon as the uterine wall was severed, he pulled it apart with 2 fingers. Now the child was quickly extracted and handed to an assistant, and then the umbilical cord was cut. The operator then put away the knife, rubbed her uterus, which was contracting, with both hands, and pressed it once or twice. Next, he put his right hand through the incision into the uterine cavity and dilated the uterine cervix with 2 or 3 fingers from the inside outwards. Then he cleansed the uterus of clots of blood, and the placenta, which had meanwhile become detached, was removed by him through the abdominal womb. The red-hot iron was again used to arrest the bleeding, but was used sparingly. The assistant tried without success to prevent the prolapse of the intestines through the womb. Meanwhile, the chief doctor had continued his pressure on the uterus till it contracted strongly. No stitches were put in the uterine womb. The assistant who had held the abdominal walls apart now let them go, and a porous grass mat was placed on the womb. The bands with which the patient was bound were unfastened. She was turned to the edge of the bed and then held up in the arms of the assistant so that the discharge from the abdominal cavity could flow onto the floor. Then she was again put in the first position, and after the grass mat which was on the womb had been taken away, the edges of the womb, the abdominal wound, were put together and joined by means of 7 well-polished iron nails which resembled acupressure needles. These had firm threads of bark material wound round them. Finally, over the womb, as a thick plaster, they put a paste made of chewing 2 different roots and spitting the pulp into a dish. Then they covered the whole with a warm banana leaf and finished the operation by putting on a firm bandage of mbugubast. While the needle was being used, the patient did not utter a cry, and an hour after the operation, she felt quite well. The patient's temperature did not rise remarkably in the next few days. On the 3rd morning, the womb was dressed and a few needles were removed, the rest on the 5th and 6th days. On the 11th day, the womb was healed. As we can see from Dr. Falcon's first-hand account, the Bunyoro procedure was very complex and was done with much care and attention to detail. They also seem to have an audience for moral and spiritual support. It seems clear, as one European observer noted, that the Bunyoro had attained a surgical skill that had reached a high standard. Caesarean sections were apparently performed on a regular basis with the use of antiseptics, anesthetics, and with the use of cautery iron. The expectant mother was normally anesthetized with banana wine, and herbal mixtures were used to encourage healing. From the well-developed nature of the procedures employed, European observers concluded that they had been employed for quite some time, and of course, they were correct. Given the very elaborate procedure described, the Bunyoro had achieved this level of mastery since ancient times, especially due to the knowledge and experience they received from nearly all corners of Africa. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help out in its continued production, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.